Okay, hello. We are live. Welcome to the special pop follow-up Q&A with our uh, teacher of the month, January teacher of the month, Miss Mead. I just want to introduce myself. I'm the face liaison here at Westside Leadership Academy. Pause up, Cougars. And I just wanted to welcome you all to this live. We have this very important Q&A because we did have a special pop meeting in April, and a lot of the parents still had some follow-up questions, so we just wanted to keep our word and bring that forth, okay? So right now, I am going to introduce our speaker. I already said a little bit. She is the, like I said, the teacher of the month special. I think she was the first special ed teacher of the month probably in Westside history. I never heard of it before. So this is a great impact that Miss Mead has made in the school with our special population students. And I hate saying special populations, they are wonderful just like any other student, but they just have special abilities. So she has made a big impact. She has been a big influence not only on the students but with the parents and with the staff here at Westside Leadership Academy. So I would like to bring Miss Mead up right now for our Q&A. I will be stepping off the camera. She got her theme music. Dun, 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 dun. Thank you so much, Miss Mead. And I would like to also thank Miss Mead for including me, including Faith as a whole in the meeting for last month. If Miss Mead never approached me about that meeting, I believe that parents will still be in the dark and will not have the information that they receive. So yes, the great impact is not on Faith, but it's on Miss Mead. And I think that's why she was chosen as teacher of the month. So wow. I'm stepping off the camera, but I will be.
Wow.
Yes.
How do you follow that? Wow.
Yes.
First of all, I just want to say I truly thank God for gifting me to be able to be a voice in special education, to be a voice to help our parents, to bring awareness to everyone about special education, and to know that parents may not always have the resources, or they might not even have the know-how to do. But what they can do is receive support from us, so to make sure that they are equipped with what is necessary to make sure that they are able to be supported, and we provide that support. And so that's one of the things that I just really appreciate. Our first resource session was awesome. The parents came out. I told them that they would. I'm excited because that means that they're interested in engaging in the active progress for their people, for their students and our students. So we just want to continue to do that. So thank you so much.
Okay, yes, okay. So Miss Mead, so thank you so much for giving us that information and your vision behind introducing and bringing forth the special pop. So once again, I just wanted to welcome you to part 2 of the parent special pop resource information session. So my first question is, why did you feel the need to put together an information session for the parents and students?
Wow, okay, that's an awesome question as always. Well, personally, at first, I wasn't looking at it in a grand scale sense. I have a couple of students that were graduating and aging out. And so as always, I want to be a source for my parents to come to. And so whether they're graduating, aging out, or just need help. And so with that being said, I thought about our other parents, and I thought about our other graduates that may be graduating in or aging out that are in our self-contained population. And so with that, I said, why don't we try to put something together? And I said, Lord, what should I do? You know, which avenue? How can I do it? And I always have the support of my principal, which I'm so happy for that. I ran it by our coordinator, and she said, what about FACE? You know, able to talk to maybe one of the FACE liaisons. At that time, nobody was in here. And I said, okay, now what am I going to do? And so I came back, and then you showed up. And I said, okay. So I brought the information, the idea to you. You were on board. And I said, from that, we're just going to allow everything to take place. I began to make phone calls, called the different agencies, talked with some CEOs, and just different supporters. For instance, Paladin, they were able, I just spoke with Geminis, and they're going to be on board with us with some of the things that some of the parents are in need of, such as beds. So that was where the heart of it came from, was to help them. And then I extended it out so that all of our self-contained parents and students will be privy to the information as well.
Okay, that's awesome. Now, for those that don't know, once again, that you are the special ed teacher of the month for January, right? Okay. So some would like to know why special education versus general education.
Okay. All right. That's a good question. I believe in the very beginning of my teaching career, I was, in my mind, leaning towards gen ed. Some may not know, but I started out subbing, so I was a substitute teacher, and then I became a para, and it gave me the opportunity to go into classrooms and then sub in various classrooms. And so when it was as though the Lord just kept leading me to special population, or the diverse community that we call it as well. And that was it. I just continued with that. Now I will say my initial part or teaching aspect was going to be resource. And I was a para in a self-contained classroom, but I do recall this funny little story. I was in a self-contained severe classroom as a sub.
Okay.
And as you may know, sometimes those classrooms, the dynamics are all over the place. So you have screaming, rocking, jumping, throwing, beating, and one of my moms is here, so she understands what I'm talking about. And so when I went into the classroom, in my mind, I said, surely the sub coordinator made a mistake by putting me in this room. Because to be really transparent, it was a little uncomfortable because I had no knowledge of that severe setting before. And so long story short, she did come and she said, oh, I didn't mean to put you in this room, but God meant to put me in there.
Oh.
And so when I left out and they hired me as a para, I said, let me continue on and try. And so they put me with the severe intellectual disability, which is SID, and then PIDS is physical intellectual disability classroom. And from there, I went to ASD1, which is autism spectrum disorder. And a year and a half later, I was the teacher.
Oh, wow.
And so who would have thought? I never would have thought that I took the assessment exams for general special education, and then my boss at that time said, I want you to take it for severe. Like, really? And so did that, and like I said, a year and a half later, the room that was so uncomfortable became a place of comfort.
Oh, wow. Dang. Ooh. So now that leads me to my next question. What is the difference between regular special education versus the students you teach in special education?
Okay, so as I mentioned briefly, so there are several variations under the special ed umbrella. So as a resource teacher, we provide support to the students that maybe have mild cognitive disabilities. And so what that means for them is they just need support. So they're in a gen ed setting, but they need maybe more support in English, more support with math, more emotional support. Sometimes they may have to be pulled out and put in a setting that's a little less intimidating, and then come back in. So whatever it is, and then others, it may be for them that the special ed teacher is actually in the classroom, and it's a co-taught situation where they are bringing illumination and support to that student. So for instance, if you were a gen ed teacher and I'm a SPED teacher, you giving them 20 problems, my students would only participate or have to do 10. Okay. And so modifications are done on that level for milder students. Now, in the severe students or the moderate students, they have a self-contained room where we provide this additional support that's needed. So if they need speech comes in, they do a pull-out. If they need emotional support, PT, whatever that support is, they come in, they pull them out, and that service is provided. But everything else as it relates to special education is served right there in our severe classroom setting.
Okay. So, next question. Because of your students' academic dynamics or severities, how are you able to determine their success?
So what we are able to do through observation, so we do assessment. So you can have a formal assessment, which is applied maybe academically with the assessments that they just took. So like the IM and the assessments that are modified for our students. And then we do observation. So I may observe, for instance, one student came, we didn't have any paperwork on him, and they just dropped him off. Now that's not the norm, but it does happen. And so with that, then that's when your academic training has to step in to say, what are we doing? What are we gonna do? And so I at that point had to do an informal assessment to give me some type of baseline. So is this person a severe student? Is this person a moderate student? Is this person supposed to be maybe in a milder setting? What is supposed to happen? And for that particular student, then he was placed correctly, which wound up being in our self-contained population. But we do soft assessments, we do visual assessments, we do academic assessments, and for different ones that may be different. So somebody may need to put some things together, like in a puzzle format, just so that we can see cognitively, are they able? You may try to find out, are they verbal? Because 3 or 4 of my students are nonverbal. And so that's usually attached to the autism spectrum disorder disability, is that.
Okay.
So hopefully that answers your question.
Yes, ma'am. So, to conclude, what are some of the resources available to parents for your students?
Okay, so as you were speaking earlier with one of our parents, so we have NEST, that's Northwest Able, they're Paladin. They came out before. They're able to come and help with waivers for parents, just to make sure. The last time we had Judge Shannon, she spoke about trust, putting monies in a trust for students, in addition to making sure that they have the rights that they need and that everything is applicable. We have both rehab. I mentioned earlier talking to someone on at Geminis, and so that's another agency that we partner with, and they provide all kind of resources. As a matter of fact, let me see, she had given me some of the things that they provide. So they provide beds, they provide furniture, they provide other furnishing that might need. One of our parents called and said she needed beds because her son broke the bed.
Oh, wow.
And because of the other thing is some of our students, they don't have boundaries, and so they don't know. People may think they're being rude, and so they just. It's not that they're being rude. They don't have social cues. They don't identify with social cues. They don't know that you're supposed to say excuse me, especially if they're nonverbal. And so, because you're trying to teach them the social cues, but it's still difficult because that's a repetitive learning skill. So we have to continuously do it. And so she was letting us know that they have those different sources, waiver help, both rehab will come out. And probably in the fall, because my plan is to continue to do this every year so that we can continue to bring awareness, not just to the special education department, but to Westside and enhance the FACE liaison. And so I'm so excited that you said yes. You know, I am. It was going to get done, but I'm glad that we were able to partner with someone that has a heart for parents like yourself. And so you do have a heart for parents, and it's grateful. And so that's what it's all about. You know, it's a collaborative effort to make sure that support, because what this person may need support with, this one doesn't. And so support for different people looks and through different lenses are different. And so those are some of the things that we want to continue to make sure. I've already spoken with the CEO at Paladin. He said they can come out. And so I think that's what we'll do in the beginning of the year, maybe like September, get everything acclimated, the new registrations, old registrations. So by September, October, they can come in and we can just sit up, and so that these people will know that this is a place that we can count on.
Yes.
So I don't want to just be the only one, because I'm one of the ones.
Yes.
You know, I'm not the only one that knows how to do their special ed job. It takes a village. It takes all of us to continue to provide, because sometimes we need support for each other. But that support is made available. And we want to let our parents know that they're not alone, because they're the voices for their children, but I'm the voice for them.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
Because they don't know what to ask. Because it's like if you have you have concerns, but if you don't know the questions to ask,
right,
how can you receive the information?
Exactly. And
so based upon hearing them, then I'm able to redirect them or direct them into the area and with, so you meant ABCD. Oh, so you need ABCD.
Yes.
And so that's what we do. So it's important for us to know the rules, the regulations, Indiana Department of Education, what the rules are that apply to special education, Title I, Title VII, different things that are available. We have to know it as the educators, because as the teacher, we're the face of what SPED looks like. And so whatever it is that they need, it's our job, and I feel as though it's our responsibility to make it happen, so that they won't feel, we put on the last one that you are not alone, and we continue to emphasize that. Why? Because you're not.
Exactly.
You're not. So.
Exactly. Love that. Okay.
All right.
All right.
So is there anything else?
We don't have any questions on the live, so I think we could conclude unless we have questions from our parents.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
All right.
What is Title I and Title VII? I've heard this mentioned a lot. What is that?
So the title, those are title funding sources that are in certain communities based upon the need of the community. So in other words, the underserviced communities are privy to more, to certain things that other communities aren't. And the reason is because they want to make sure that they are afforded the same opportunities that other school districts are able
Okay,
to
I've
receive.
heard of Title I, yeah,
And
Title I
so
district.
those are
Okay.
the reasons why those fundings are so important, because parents like yourself, they rely upon those. Even if they don't know what it's called, they still rely upon the
Yeah.
source.
Yeah.
Because they may not know, but I know
Okay.
what it is, or she knows, but as a SPED team, we know, okay, this is for this is for that. And so it's our job to see that those opportunities are seized by you guys. And so that's what it's for.
And I just want to let you know, you have done a very good job. You are an excellent teacher, excellent
Oh my God.
spokesperson. And I teach upstairs, and I just couldn't wait to come down here to hear you today. And just job well done. And I have learned so much these last 2 times coming to hear you talk. And
wow.
it's just marvelous. So thank you for inviting me.
Oh, I love it.
And you know what, my heart is so full, because this is something that we do, you know, and I wasn't being facetious when I told her it was going to get done anyway, because Ms. Hill knows that I've been doing things for them since I walked in the door. So, but it's just awesome when we can come together and then we can enhance one another.
Yes,
So my helping you doesn't take away from me.
that's right.
And if anything, it encourages and it adds to what the value, the internal value. Because somebody
Yes.
may need a lift, but because they have a smile, you don't know that they need a lift.
Huh.
Uh-oh. And so my heart is excited. I'm very passionate.
Go start us up.
You know, because it's the truth. Because when I first met Ms. Hill, I talked to her, I know, 3 times a week. I was like, oh my goodness. We talked because the room,
No. My daughter is.
because her daughter's in my room. And so when they put me in that room, Ms. Hill and a couple of others thought it necessary to let me know the dynamics of the classroom wasn't to their liking. And so a lot of times when you're dealing with just extremities and things that have so many components, you have to literally get by yourself and make a plan that works for you to deconstruct so that you can reconstruct. Come on now.
Yes, yes.
You got to tear it down so that you can build it up. And then you can place it where it's supposed to be. And so now, year 3, this is my 3rd year as of last month. Yeah. And we're able to see the growth, but there's always hard work when it, you know, that's attached to it.
Yes.
Nothing is simple, nothing is just easy. What's the slogan? You know, if you want to work, if you want it, you got to work for it.
Yes.
And we have to put the work in. And so I'm so glad that they allowed me the liberty to be able to do what was necessary in supporting their babies, because they're still their babies.
Yes.
You know, and she trusts me, you know, and they trust me. That's why they came out,
Yes.
because there's a trust there, and there's a love there, and there's a genuine concern. And so we want to make sure that continues, and that somebody continues to have the heart for it, for them, so that they can continue to feel support and don't think that every time somebody's calling, it's for something bad.
Right.
Because I would call her and say, she did really good today. Everything is fine. I just told her this morning, oh, she's asleep. She was taking a little nap. Because sometimes the medications that they take, you know, they may have to take a nap, or if they come in with an anxiety. So we have to do informal assessments all the time.
Okay.
You have to glean and say, well, hey, how you doing today? Well, can I take a nap? And we have to make sure that we are doing our due diligence. and say, well, okay, well, let's try this. And then if we further see that anxiety may enhance or heighten, then we need to do, make some other adjustments. So thank you, ladies, for that. I certainly appreciate it.
Any more questions? Okay. We don't have any on the line.
All right, thank you so much.
All right, thank you so much, Miss Mead.
You're welcome.
Okay, and thank you to those that have came in person, even though they did not have to come out the comfort of their home, but because of the support and love and integrity that Miss Mead carries.
Yes.
We have parents and
Yes.
staff that came down and say,
Yes.
okay, I just want to support her. So
Yes.
that means a lot. And I think also you could feel secure and basically trust that here at Westside Leadership Academy, if you have a child of a special ability, that you have teachers like Miss B that you can trust and that will overlook your children and overlook over your children and not bring harm to them or not neglect them. Like, I love the fact that what Miss Mead said, she calls the parent not because something bad is happening, but because something good is happening. And I love that because that actually give a parent that comfort, like, okay, and that surety, like, oh, she really does care about not only my child, but my well-being as
Right,
well,
that's
because
right.
mentally, being a parent is hard. Sometimes it is it could take a mental toll, especially when you have children of special abilities, okay? So I understand, but I want to give a couple announcements before we end the live. Okay, so look out for this Saturday, which is the 31st, isn't it? Right. The 31st, May 31st at 8:30, we have the Power of Partnership parent conference, which I will actually be on the panel for that. I'm a panelist. So I would like you guys to come out. If you did not get a chance to register, this will be here at Westside. Okay. So it's from 8:30 to 1:15. Food will be served. We have a resource fair. Child care will be provided, so you don't have a babysitter. No excuses. And we also have some self-care things going on as well. We also have a keynote speaker, which will be the First Lady of Gary, Mrs. Crystal Melton. So I am excited to hear her speak. They are bringing the subject of fostering academic success and emotional well-being. So please be there. If you did not register, you can register on site here at 900 Jerry Street, Westside Leadership Academy. Also, parents of the Gary Community Schools Corporation, if you have a student that's in the school or you would like to register, I will advise you to come in, especially if you have children, if you're just in the area. Come into Westside Leadership Academy. I'm your face liaison. I can help you register your children if you are looking to register your children for any of the schools. Okay, so I could get you started on Skyward, but especially if you have children that are starting in Westside, come in and do your registration today, because on July 7th through the 10th, we are having a uniform voucher fair. Basically, you come in and you can get vouchers only for the Gary Community School students. So last year we did this and parents came in with students from other schools. No, it will be set up only for our Gary Community Schools. So you need to know that your children must be registered here at our schools in order to receive these vouchers, okay? And if you do come and receive the vouchers, okay, you cannot spend the money on something else. Like, it's especially for our students here at Gary School. So once again, that's July 7th through the 10th. If you need to do registration, please come into Westside Leadership Academy, 900 Jerry Street. Ask for the face liaison, Miss Jackson. Here I am. And I'm looking forward to seeing you guys. Okay, thank you once again for attending this live. Thank you for those that came in, not live, but live and in color. No, I'm kidding. Thank you guys. Bye.